Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, what can we say? We are simply having a bad day as far as our technology is concerned. Our technology has failed us twice, so I apologize for that. We've hopefully been in a position to fix it, as I said. But Kotak Mahindra has had a bad 2 years, because of which today the Reserve Bank of India, which is the Central Bank of India, has directed Kotak not to issue any fresh credit cards or onboard new customers on its online and mobile banking channels. Now, the bank can, of course, continue to serve its customers, including those who hold credit cards. Now, the RBI's action is coming days after its tech examination of Kotak Bank for the years 2022-2023. Now, the central bank says it has scanned Kotak's IT systems for 2 years straight and has found some technical issues. Hopefully, we'll be finding out what our technical issues were here on Mirror Now as well in the last 5 minutes or so. Now, the RBI is saying that the bank didn't manage its computer equipments or softwares well, and that its access issues were ill-managed. The RBI has also said that Kotak's IT system is deficient, and there are concerns over data leak and protection strategy. Not just that, the RBI has also claimed that the lenders, despite its directives, didn't do a good job of following up with what was said. And therefore, a comprehensive external audit is needed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't the first time that the RBI has cracked the whip on a private bank. In the year 2020, the RBI had asked HDFC to halt all launches of its digital businesses and sourcing of new customers. The move came after HDFC faced a series of technical glitches that involved incidents of outages in internet and mobile banking services and payment utilities. This ban, complete ban, was lifted in 2022 when the RBI was satisfied with HDFC's compliance. Some numbers here. According to a report, there were 248 successful data breaches that were reported in India's banking sector between 2018 and 2022. Not surprisingly, 205, which means a maximum number of successful data breaches, happened in the private banking sector. Needless to say, the RBI's concerns over the evolving tech climate and its inherent threats is valid. They need to keep all of us customers safe. Point is, do we as customers, especially of Kotak right now, need to be concerned? Kishore Subramanian is a financial expert. He's joining us on the broadcast. Shree Parthasarathy is partner and national leader for cyber risk and managed services. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here on the broadcast. Mr. Parthasarathy, I'm going to start with you. Please help me understand. Look, the RBI has put out a press note. We've seen the press note. But please help my viewers understand as simply as possible what exactly is the problem with Kotak Mahindra. Is the RBI saying that the security systems that need to be put in place while we do digital transactions, that security system is not strong enough? Is that what the RBI is saying?
The RBI, if I interpret what RBI has said, I've not read the details in the incident itself. But if I look at what RBI does typically, and having helped multiple banks and financial institutions, one of the things, there are two aspects that RBI looks at. They look at technology from a technology itself in terms of technology infrastructure. They look at operations. They look at the entire management of that particular infrastructure. On the other side, they also look at security and they look at resilience. And what does that mean? Technology operations means that when infrastructure is put in place, that essentially it's configured right, it has all the appropriate checks and balances, it has the right protections in place. And then as it goes through, banks keep releasing new software and all thing in terms of their mobile banking to be very competitive and all thing. So whenever a new software and all thing is released, it has to go through the right checks in terms of security, technology, configuration, bug testing, everything before they roll it out. So that would be on the software side. Third is on the infrastructure side itself, there are going to be so many changes that happen. That simply, when you look at it, is just some of the internal change that is happening within the organization. But now let's look at the external threat that keeps coming in. As organizations roll out digital and technology infrastructure, they're also exposing themselves to a lot of risk. And that risk is on a constant rise. While organizations to be competitively in a competitive advantageous position are rolling out digital infrastructure,
Okay.
the threat landscape, which is also becoming very organized. And when you say fourth largest bank,
Sure.
obviously there will be a target, right? So from that aspect, they need to manage all of those particular threats in terms of how they manage it. So now just moving into the security side. On the
Okay.
security side, the continuous monitoring of the environment and constantly making sure if there are incidents that you are fixing those incidents, understanding the root cause behind that, and going and fixing it. For a simple example,
Okay.
I may roll out a server or I may roll out infrastructure on the cloud, but I did not have the right patches, I did not have the right security, or I did not have something in that. So when it's detected and there's an exploitation
ठीक है.
possible, then you need to instantly go and fix it. And if
हाँ.
RBI is
So
basically
Miss,
doing this,
okay.
and
So Mr.
they give,
Parthasarathy, I, I'm just going to interrupt you here. So the
yeah,
RBI essentially is saying that these are these are IT issues that we flagged off. These are security issues that we flagged off for 2 years, and the bank simply has not done enough to make to make their services foolproof, as it were, foolproof from fraud. That is, Kishore Subramanian, I'm not concerned about outages, right? As a consumer, it's okay if my bank once in a while fails to give me the service that I require on time. I can deal with outages. My problem and my big concern is security. The fact that, is my money safe? Given the fact that I don't remember the last time I went to a bank, because all our transactions are now digital, most of our transactions are now digital, I want to ask you, as a consumer, what do I make of what the RBI is telling Kotak? Is my money in Kotak Bank safe? ठीक है, they are not onboarding new customers. ठीक है, no new credit cards will be issued. But as an existing customer of Kotak, and I am an existing customer, is my money safe?
Okay. Good evening, Shreya, and good evening to Mr. Parthasarathy. Let me first, there are a lot of irony today. When we started this program, there was an outage. So, and coincidentally,
Not
you're
one,
talking
but
to me.
two. But we fixed it. And Kotak didn't.
No. These outages don't cause any financial loss, Shreya. So, jokes apart, and you are coincidentally speaking to me, I was one of their first employees. When the Kotak Bank opened in South India, in Chennai, I was one of their first employees nationwide, one of their first. So, and here am I speaking about the bank's technical issues. Okay, I'm not an IT expert, but let me still clarify. As far as the customer's money is concerned, I think banking softwares have SSL level security, and there is no worry about that. What the RBI has done,
Okay.
I think my panelists will be able to clarify and correct me if I'm wrong, is a preventive measure. Here it is a preventive measure to ensure that it's not about outages or the downtime of an app or a mobile banking portal, but what is important is that whether hackers and external exposures are being curbed, the patches are being put in place so that when there is a transaction, today the entire ecosystem of money is digital. And with UPI in place, you have multiple layers. There are checks and balances, but I think RBI has done a fantastic job. The IT team of RBI has put on hold the transactions or further onboarding just to prevent a hacker or a team where the exposure is there and the vulnerability.
No. Kishore, here's the point. You're calling this preventive. Kishore, you're calling this preventive. How is this preventive? When the RBI is saying that for two successive, एक minute. When the RBI is saying that for 2 successive years, the bank failed to take us seriously and fix the problem.
Okay.
That's what the RBI is saying, right? So how is it preventive?
Yeah. I'll tell you how is it preventive. First point, RBI is saying it takes IT audit continuously, regularly, and constantly at international standards to protect the consumer. Point number 1. Point number 2, it is preventive because today you don't have a situation where the bank's core banking system has been hijacked or hit upon, or there are any frauds which has happened. Maybe minor issues are happening, like the 205 you reported across many banks, public sector or private. That may happen. But has there been any major failure? There has not been. But it is preventive in nature, saying that there is a vulnerability for tomorrow something to happen. Therefore, RBI is acting in advance. Therefore, I call it preventive. Number 2, is it right to ban any bank if your systems are weak and in this online world with so many potential threats, the landscape is extremely dangerous. I think RBI has done a wonderful job of correction. And Kotak has to put its IT infrastructure and team in place properly to ensure that you give confidence. And believe me, the stock is going to get hit because of this. That's a major outcome also.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll see how Kotak stocks do. But for the moment, we are still waiting for Kotak to respond to the press note that the RBI has put out. I'm sure they had expected this. They saw it coming. We'll wait for their response. For the moment, we'll leave it there for the moment. Kishore Subramanian, thank you very much. Shree Parthasarathy, thank you very much for joining us as well.